This segment is brought to you by Central National Bank. Put our ag professionals to work for you.
Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on Ag AM in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Cabus. Kansas State University Swine Industry Day was held November 21st at the Kansas Alumni Center.
Absolutely.
Take a look.
So, what we've got right here is our annual Kansas State University Industry Swine Day. It's an opportunity for all the K-State swine nutrition, swine management, swine reproductive group to provide some information out there to producers. And so, our key here at K-State is for the application of swine information to help increase producer profitability. And so people in attendance would be other researchers. We've got industry professionals here. We've got producers here in the state of Kansas as well as the surrounding states coming in for a time to get together and just learn all the new aspects of what's going on out there in swine nutrition and swine management.
PEDV and swine delta coronavirus are serious issues in swine production in both Kansas and around the world. Porcine epidemic diarrhea virus is a coronavirus that infects the cells lining the small intestine of a pig, causing severe diarrhea and dehydration. Like PEDV, swine delta coronavirus causes diarrhea and vomiting. However, mortality rates appear to be lower than in cases of PEDV.
So we talked about PED today as well as swine delta coronavirus, and both of those would be similar viruses. They're both a coronavirus, but behave a little bit differently when it gets into the pig. And so ultimately, if we lump them together, it's probably the best way to think about prevention techniques. And ultimately, both viruses are very infectious. It takes a very small amount of virus to be able to actually infect a barn. Based on the results that we have, 1 gram of infected piglet feces is enough to infect 500 tons of feed and still be able to make pigs sick. And so ultimately, the biggest focus for the producers is biosecurity and preventing the spread of PED from one barn to the next, from one animal to the next. It could be on someone's boots, it could be on someone's clothes, it could be on trucks and vehicles like that. And so focusing on biosecurity to prevent the spread is really the key. The big thing with both the PED and the Delta Corona is that it's a primarily a fecal oral transmission. And so it's a transfer of virus then through something that next pig will consume to be able to make to ultimately be sick.
Again, both PEDV and swine delta coronavirus cause diarrhea and vomiting and are highly contagious.
Really, think about the PED as well as the Delta Corona. Both will have very similar symptoms that a producer would see in their barns. Normally about 2 days after they're inoculated or after they're contaminated with the virus, they'll start seeing a really loose, watery diarrhea. You'll see pigs that'll go off feed. They'll start huddling, grouping up together. It's very clear when you go into these barns that you know something's wrong. You can actually tell it the minute you open that door. You'll start having a bad stench, a bad odor just from all the fecal material that's in the environment right there.
Strict biosecurity measures have been the standard operating procedure for many producers for a long time, but the presence of PEDV has forced researchers to revisit or step up their practices.
Yeah, with everything that we've conducted thus far, what's really impressive to us as much as anything is just how infective this virus can be. It takes a very, very small amount of the virus to lead to infection. Again, 1 gram of feces in 500 tons of feed is a very dilute amount. And so again, the focus on biosecurity, the focus on making every step you can not to artificially transfer it from one location to the X. The big thing though that producers as well as the consumers need to keep in mind is that the PED and Delta Corona are not a zoonotic disease. So it poses no threat to humans, to other animals, anything like that out there. So it's a swine-specific disease that we're working with right here, which is great because it means that we don't have to worry about consuming our pork chop tonight at dinner time.
Turn to a Central National Bank ag professional. You'll be in good company. They'll help you track expense lines, manage variable input costs, assess ground agreements, pick a crop protection plan. These times demand ag professionals. Central National Bank. You could profit from what they know. Ag operations run better on Central Time.
Central National Bank. Money for life.
Member FDIC in your hometown since 1884.